a very uncharacteristic game from him, but we do have to see that utility work and how this will actually operate going forward. There's already Cena going to start exploring towards middle. And gets first contact and gets beheaded. That's unbelievable. Well, there's a fight on the other side of the map here as well. This is just a straight up death match. What's going on?
Acend actually find the second here as well. Vac going to come through, finds Nookie. Over quick for the trade here, but Monster on the backstab to Meadow. Actually, it's a 1v3 now for Avova. Zeke comes through, sweeps the last kill, and Acend put themselves on the board nice and early this time around. Again, that opening engagement for CNED, if he gets battered in a couple of these early rounds, it could be really detrimental to the outlook here for Acend. But we're able to recover. Actually, perfect aggression on the backside of this mid push, actually, as soon as that first blood comes through, Lauren.
Yeah, that could have spiraled so quickly. I'm quite impressed that they still committed to that and actually won out the fight. So that's, you know, the silver lining to what could have been a very bad start. As said, losing out on that player in middle who was meant to be quite the instigator, but got dealt with. Zeke already off, starting things up. And Acend taking space, not sitting back by any means, actually almost over pushing here, trying to get that deeper look towards the backside of A. What's happened? Slow progress being made by Mixwell over towards B long.
The trap here, but look how deep they're playing towards A site. No contact given just yet. Meadow playing this pretty quietly. Sound Q will be given away to Starzo in mid, actually. He's going to post up on that now as they do make a little bit further progress here. Meadow, knife out, might not be expecting this, and he does get punished for it. Zeke will find that kill.
To be fair to G2, I'm not expecting masses from this round, considering that they're coming in with classics and I can only see the upgrade on Hoodie at the moment. So outside of that, this should be comfortable work, and that's about all she wrote. So again, spike plant not too bad, I guess, in that aspect that you even got something out of this, but that's about it. 2 on the board for Acend now. Good start, and you're going to see those ults coming through pretty quick. Monster not far from his at all.
That's a real early progress on the back of actually the, not sure if the orb was retrieved in the pistol or not, but one away from the Viper's Pit. If you can get that online here for the bonus, it could be massive to lock down a site, enable Acend to actually, you know, play similarly to this round, right? Get a little bit of aggressive and kind of pivot off that map control. Let's see if initially it's going to look as if he's going to go for the orb. The 3 players committed towards B site early on here for Acend. Mixwell will be revealed with the KO knife at least. Shock Dart actually missing a trap here.
Didn't, yeah. Wonder if that comes back to bite them. And again, the aggression. They're happy to take a fight on this, trying to maybe play in CNED off the back of the contact, but
the drone didn't spot CNED.
Quite, no. And I do wonder if they still check on this. He doesn't get what he wants. Gives away relatively early. Almost no damage achieved. So again, for now, G2 going through the protocols of taking slow B long control, but there is still 3 players on the other side of this. They are actively playing towards this.
Looking now, creeping closer and closer. CNED still in range of his TP. We'll find Mixwell hopping up on the box here. CNED still eager to find a kill before committing to the TP out. The flash is perfect. Going to put him in a position to find a kill onto Avova.
Yeah, it felt like he was on a nice edge, but Cena does deliver on towards that. You can see the spam coming through, and it puts him down to 40 and actually costs him his life. Hoodie with a quick trade out brings it back to this 4v4. Now, keep in mind, there are Spectres. Cena was the one with the rifle, as was, I think, Back still got his, but the rest only have Spectres to hand, so they needed more. Back does double down, finding Mixwell, but you can see the cleanup crew. Nookie is there, and it's 2 still standing, 2 rifles remaining, and G2 getting on the board.
An absolute brawl here for B site. I mean, Acend desperate to try and prevent the spike from even being planted. Vac finding the shock dart kill and the second, but the trades just go perfectly for Nookie. Lines up 3 in quick succession there. We were talking about it previously. Now the Viper's Pit available. Vac 1 away from the Hunter's Fury here. A decent opportunity here for round 4. G2 come back in. Actually, a Guardian, the only thing Hoodie can must is get out on the back of 2 spike plants, a little bit of a buff to the finances, but Looking to get clear out close here. This time around, Cned forced to TP nice and early. Forced him off this angle, but nobody actually here to fill the gap to punish Zeke. As I say that, though, Mixwell still will thread the needle, finds that headshot. Will create an opening here for G2.
That's massive. And again, you can note where Starzo and Vac are. They're still somewhat posted towards middle. This puts a great deal of pressure into the hands of Cned over towards that B side. He's still somewhat safe enough. Obviously, we know this and they don't, but already Acend going to try and support Cned. They have that ultimate on the other side. Viper's Pit is still very much controlling that A site. So funneling G2 this way, and we already noted it before, that brawl that came down on the site itself, just in that prior round, might be similar scenes. You can see them already trying to invest a little bit of utility to ensure nobody is slow creeping towards A. And for now, with 40 seconds left, they will once again look to be committing towards B.
I say it's interesting. Vac did just come back over to check A site after this wall kind of prevents a B split. So Acend reading what G2 are about to do, but back in position now.
30 seconds left.
Hunter's Fury posted through though, and it's actually going to find Cned.
Huge work, and now Starzo last time dove for this, put his life on the line for it, and he just didn't have the opportunity for it this time. And G2 make it into the post part with 5 standing. Still bits of utility to play with as well. Nuki still with utility to invest if necessary. You look at Starzo, Vac, and Monster. Where are you meant to go with this? You've got no way in. You've got no picks coming through either. I don't know if they can go for it. It's a save.
They absolutely can't. So it's interesting to see that the timing actually very favorable for Acend. Like I said, that wall goes up, which kind of indicates they're expecting this B site hit, but I almost say Vac's a little disconnected from it. Whether or not, again, Acend are going to try and reinforce this kind of anti-plant hold on B site, but it doesn't pay off again. We talked about it, Stars are kind of locked out, that a ton of damage coming through. And just a slight adjustment on the wall for G2 creates a little pocket of safety to find that plant on default. That's really, really interesting. If Acend are going to continue, this is unorthodox, right, for G2, actually hitting B site and opting for it,
competently as well.
So whether or not this is going to kind of, throw a spanner in the mix in terms of Ascend's expectations here for G2's attacking half, and whether or not we see a massive adaptation.
I was trying to wait till the full-on gun rounds came in, but it's happened, and G2 were happy to commit to that B take, and they were fighting for that early control. And again, it's kind of the fear of a hit, right? The fact that you're playing G2 on this map, that A is really well drilled for them, so you have to play a little bit to that. But for now, as I said, G2 showing that they have depth to this now. They've explored beyond just that A piece, and this B take is looking pretty robust. I haven't seen quite the answer yet from Acend, but this could be the chance for Monster. It looks like a dry hit coming out from G2, trying to maybe wait a little bit more, just burst towards the side, but it's not worked well this time. They're going to lose that first player forward, and now finally an advantage for G2, for Acend, even if it's for just a moment.
It's key that there's Hoodie to fall first as well. Nuki with this lurking mid going to find an opener here. Monster still isolated on site, but he does deal with Mixwell.
And Vac finds his own value as well, playing from that top side of sight. Meadow quickly trades it out, but it is a player advantage. And Cned swings, and Cned falls 2v2 now. Bear in mind, it's a Spectre with Zeke. It's more ideal. The spam is good. Monster single-handedly trying to win this round. Dips away to safety for a second. Tames Meadow. You can see that slow creep on the back lines. That's coming out from Zeke. And there is the delivery in the end. Zeke, the timing was perfect, but it's all down to, my mind, Monster. His ability to control that site, but that almost dry piece from G2 was pretty bold to bring out.
It was, and I think, yes, Monster, great to highlight that, but it's the fact that Hoodie falls first. This entire B-site hit relies on that wall. That's how they've got away with finding these plants in an anti-plant approach from Acend. The fact that he's the one that's kind of swinging wide here, you'd almost expect somebody to be in a position to take first contact for Hoodie. Allow him to put this wall down.
Keep that utility just that bit safer. Looking at the buy coming back in. Cena not far from his ult, but he needs to get it now. Should be ready to go, so you can fill that void. And Vac on the other side with his ult as well, so trying to spread the wealth a little bit, keep that economy as best built as it can be. Mixwell noting where that utility was invested. And that should put the fear of God into Acend now. Monster, though, really well equipped last time to handle this. A little bit of an adjustment, tries to spam through, and you can see that they're trying to actually deeper wall this time.
It's the DRX adjustment. They're going for a very, very deep plant towards Snowman here. Hunter's Fury invested off default. Again, this plant unable to find it, but Acend actually find 2 kills in the mix.
Now this is... Oh, the timing of over! Look that way for a moment's time, but Zeke gets the punish, and just it's all down to Mixwell. A 1v4. This is looking good for Acend. They have the numbers, they have the bodies on the site, and he just simply doesn't have the vision towards it right now. Has to get a punish, and he can't do it. Starkzo's there, and Acend stabilized in a very necessary round.
Sure, I love the awareness to switch things up there, knowing the Hunter's Fury is online. Again, expecting Monster to try and, I guess, dip his toes ahead of some of the audio cues there, but he doesn't. And ultimately, I think G2, they have to follow through on that. I was talking about DRX have done a very similar execution here on Icebox, but it all relies on taking very deep snowman control. I think actually initially, well, his 2 kills come through as that spike's being planted, so there's almost one body you can write off in terms of Hoodie being committed to that plant, but the timing ultimately is what bails Acend out in that scenario.
You want to play? Let's play.
Now the buy on the other side, you got to look at it for G2. Well, what, a Bulldog for Meadow and the rest? The only real highlight to that is going to be Mixwell. So eyes towards him and what he can achieve, and actually seen it going walkabouts.
Did Nookie spot that? He's posted up now. I think
No, maybe not. It looked so right that he was looking this way on the timing, but maybe not. Nookie just reading the potential of this and just maybe allowing Mixwell to try and work, give him some time.
Cena's going to be close enough to hear these steps, though, but look at where the spike is.
And the cross back as soon as, Hoodie crosses back to maybe get the spike, there's the contact. Now, Cena wasn't able to punish on this, which is relatively surprising. I thought he could have punished that and it would potentially cost him that spike being recovered in a timely manner, but it wasn't the case. Now, Meta, in the meantime, has been working towards the A site, gets contact towards Zeke, doesn't win the fight. No one there to trade by any means. That was just a solo push at this point.
Oh, Vac next in line. He's holding this mid-cross. As Mixwell checked the lower angle, though. He's going to tuck up right under tube.
30 seconds left.
Playing this one right.
Patience will be the virtue, won't it? Starzo on the other side, trying to find the timing. Doesn't need it. It's Cena to find a Vova. Starzo, though, looking back towards the site. It's a little rusty on moments, but it should be enough to get him across the finish line here with 13 seconds left. If you're just looking to do damage, Mixwell not really afforded many opportunities as Nookie is doing some damage. Now, he's actually got the spike to hand, and I don't know if he can actually get a pawn out of this. He's tried it. He gave it a damn good go, but Vac puts his life on the line for it. And Mixwell calms that mental game of, okay, well, when does G2 just start hitting that A-side take, right? And look at this. CNED, eyes from the sky, but does Meadow swing it? How long does he hold this for?
That's such a disgusting angle.
It's filthy.
Yeah.
It's... out of the list of everything to clear...
Did Meadow just spot him with that shoulder peek?
Did he shoulder peek? What seen it feels as though he's been potentially seen, so backs away from it. Again, this is that mental game of trying to work out what the plan is from G2 after this timeout, because traditionally you'd imagine they'd fall back to that A take, right, going back to what they know, but it seems like a little bit of a delayed hit coming through back towards B. But what have they identified? What can they work around now? And Mixwell's got the operator out, but again, we've seen Monster pretty much holding the line pretty comfortably now. The rotations have been good coming in. It looks like the KJ out's going to come through, so maybe this is the difference they were looking for, just that capability to clear sight.
And still have space to play towards Snowman, but... Let's see. We'll find the plant. Got the setup here. Viper's Pit rings through
Bloody
as well.
hell.
Everything thrown into this round from G2. Desperate to get a third on the board. Let's see what Acend can do here. A full 5v5 in the post plant. Cena going to open things up first, though.
Yeah, nasty shot towards Mixwell. Hoodie going to pick up the mantle. Doesn't even see him. Does not even see him. No shot. This Monster wants to try and close in. Slow down.
Another
Hoodie's
blind kill.
He's just not seeing targets. He's gone for a cheeky res. And back threads the needle. Gets 2, but it's the last 3. How are you going to clear them? You even got that kind of reposition deeper in middle coming out as well from Nookie. It just ain't happening. I mean, okay, Hoodie, replicate that a couple of times, and I guess you'll close the scoreline in, but bloody hell, that was ridiculous.
Wow. I mean, the first coming through, the blind op shot lands, and then finds the second, which is, it almost feels like a one-tap headshot.
Yeah. That's unreal.
But G2 throw everything they had into that. I mean, look at the
That was a
byproduct.
kitchen sink flying past there, Mike.
Absolutely. It's a little bit of work to do to catch up in terms of this next ultimate cycle, but need to at least keep the scoreline close. Brings it back to a 2-round difference here.
Ooh.
Turret down.
Okay, so they've cleared Meadow's turret this time. I do want to see if they're like what the adjustments are here, because you saw that Cena tried to have that fight early on again, identified that that's where we've seen early presence from Meadow. I like seeing this like attempt at kind of finding out what the plan is, what they're playing, and that's a dangerous little cross to go on there, Starkzo.
Acend almost anticipating G2 to resort back to this A-side hit, right? Yeah. But it's always a slow burn. So this early progress kind of being nullified. Mixed up. Okay. Now we're just finding blind kills now through the walls. Look where that death marker is. It's literally.
It's ridiculous. I mean, look. Mixwell couldn't miss before. That time. Finally hits. Now he can see a player. It goes wrong. Yeah. All right.
That was a disadvantage.
There it is. You got to just completely put utility in the way, and he'll absolutely thrive. Now, Life Plant denied for this moment. Actually, Hoodie punished so much trying to peel away from that just for a second of safety. But can they clear the site? No. Back still finds Nookie. The trade's there for Hoodie, but again, look at Hoodie's HP. He can't really back out of this. Zeke with the punish, but the trade comes out. Huge trade. Puts it into a 1v2 now. CNED slowly creeping towards the site. 15 seconds to try and keep this in control. Spike finally back in hand. He has to try and contest this. If it gets into the post plant, surely he's cooked. And he tries, but he fails. It's Meadow waiting and watching. And the gap on that scoreline is closing in now. G2 finding a little bit of stability. I mean, by hook or by crook, Mike, it doesn't feel like these rounds are repeatable. You know, that mad investment of the ultimate. Shots coming in through walls, barely able to see, but it's working.
Absolutely is. And this is one that could define the rest of this half, to be honest. Look at Ascend's finances now. Yes, they have the ability to get a couple of ultimates online. Tour de Force, Rez, and the Null Command all one away. Hunter's Fury already available for Ascend. You're trying to deny this 4P on 8. Nobody actually going for it here, but G2 stack up now. In the one round that Ascend weren't set up for it. They have to play very deep now. Starzo and Vac tucked all the way into backside. But look at Ascend. They're scrambling to find 5 bodies for this rotation already. This is what they've been scared of.
This is the panic button. This is the panic button being here right now. They're like, it's finally happening. We took our eyes off the prize for a second, but this could all be still somewhat of a fake. I do wonder if G2 pull the plug on this at some point. They're looking for the punish. The timing on this, the fight, the brawl, and it's CNED to double down, but it's all traded out. So effectively, we're still in this 3v3. The ult's coming through, though. The investment off the back. I don't think it's found what they wanted, but Starkzo has. Punishes Mixwell on the push-up, and Meadow with the trade. He couldn't make more of it, but that's still essential. A quick trade out to bring it back to this 2v2. The Bulldog, it ain't great, but it does enough. Again, back and forth. Meadow against Monster. The spike to hand in 40 seconds, Mike. That is a great deal of time to get into someone's head.
Absolutely. Got full utility as well, so he can set himself up comfortably. If he can get across the B, find a good plant. He's got Tommy, 2 nano swarms, and the alarm bot to work with here. You almost give the advantage to Meadow here.
It's like a 1.5v1 almost, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Tommy's putting in work. Look at that. Fine form. All right, plant comes in, and Monster had to sit. Like, there was, you know, there's always the chance it's the double pump. You can't, you can't do much about it. But the problem is now, obviously, the time. That time just gets soaked away on this way back through. And for Meadow, gonna slip towards B long. And as you noted, still had plenty of utility to put into play this round, which is something you might have to depend on here just to ensure safety.
I mean, Monster's got to go quick. There's so many angles to cover here. Contact going to be taken from the turret. Nano swarm to burn up and a little bit more time as well. This is almost,
Oh, there it is.
almost lost here. And actually, Meadow does swing ahead of it. We'll find his 4th and get the lockdown available for the next round. And now that we're...
It's tatty. There's not much to it. It's not looking good. We have to see that protocol list being worked through. As CNED will at least have the tour de force to lean upon. And that's relatively vital to this. They can maybe allow him a lot more presence towards B long. He has to hold this down. Maybe allow a little bit more exploration through middle to Starkzo. But again, Evova's in spawn.
Starkzo swinging this. He actually wants to try and find the kill. He's going to find it.
It's worked. Okay, there's the trade. Thank you, Mixwell, for keeping everything in the realm of reality. But look at the other side of things. Acend are just getting a little fruity with things. They're just trying stuff out because they kind of need to. And the lockdown go. Oh,
Hoodie?
You have no right for that. And Hoodie being punished. I don't know what I've just seen, Mike.
I don't want to see it again, that's for sure. Actually, comes through the recon bolt, going to tag Meadow ahead of this, but this late mid-lurk. Acend completely unaware of the second angle presented itself. Vac now with a judge in hand, still finds one.
Oh.
Meadow good for the trade, but damn, Acend nearly made that work.
They gave it a damn good go, right?
I don't know how Hoodie didn't get that trade. He just gets absolutely clapped with the judge on the repeat. After Monster actually pushes into his poison orb to deny the lockdown as well.
That's a madness. You can't be feeling good after that.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to see it. Yeah, thank you. Yep.
Yeah, play it again.
Put that one in the post-game highlights.
5-6. It's heating up, man. This game's starting to come alive a little bit here. Now G2, I'd say are poised to take this towards 7. Unless Acend have a moment now. Looking at Acend though, they have more ultimates to work with. They've got bits and pieces left over this round after having almost nothing in the prior. Viper's Pit going to go up towards A, but you're right. Look at them just sowing the seeds of potential paranoia with Nuki just showing a little bit of presence. Still having to invest utility to clear through A. You still got that lean from, I think it's Vac who kind of came over to try and clear through it. So again, I like what G2 are trying to do. They're toying with the idea of showing a little, but again, the counter to that is, you look at Cned just holding space. If he's just going to try and keep playing actively towards B long, that's a whole chunk of the map that no one's cleared yet.
This time around, Vac and Stars though don't have the wall to rely on here, and there's no trap in kitchen either. So once that wall goes down, it's going to pull an extra player towards some sort of commitment to mid. Actually, the timing might be favorable here for G2. Don't actually take an awful lot of damage through the poison orb. That's it. Look how deep they get.
Challenging. Is this off the back of just how far maybe Nuki was able to thread through in that prior round with absolutely no contact? And it's a wrap, but they break the wall. So this is a dangerous fight. That's 2 players towards CT. Starkzo's there. They're fine. And they're trying to pinch towards this A site. And I like the theory, but the execution looking a little fraud until then. Finally punish Hoodie. The spike gets lost. He can't make it work anymore as Mixwell now left in a 1v3. 15 seconds, no spike to hand and no pick to be had. It's brought back all even. I like the idea from G2, but again, depending on that wall to CT, Acend were ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And whether or not there's any adjustment you could make there for maybe Evova's utility being invested differently, if that was the plan from the offset, but it seemed a little disjointed in terms of the end product. See now, I mean, drawn up 6-6 with how that half started is still a massive swing back in for G2. It was, well, now we look at the composition from Acend, when obviously this adjustment is what it looks like. And whether or not Mixwell, after that map 1 performance, 6-12 here after the attack in half, whether or not he can try and recoup some of his losses here on the defense. But we did talk about Zeke being the key stakeholder here, particularly for Mixwell on the defense. This is where we now look towards Zeke.
Desk highlighted it. And now we have to see it in action. And already, well, Cned just backhands Mixwell. That's the start the Acend fans and players are now dreaming of. The first step in the right direction towards B. Zeke now leading the way as well. Takes a lot of space, deep wall. I like this adjustment towards that B take coming out already.
Very early on, and again, the keynote being, I identified it before, look at the snowman control that Acend are able to garner on the back of this adjustment.
Oh, it's beautiful on a pistol round as well. Really costing them so much time to play it back in and so much more to clear. Look how unfavorable these angles are on the way through, forcing G2 to invest. Wall goes up and they get an isolated 1v1. No trade comes off the back of that either. This could be different. This could maybe change things. Cned forced to sit back and still just being rotted. He's down to nothing. Look at the state of the HP. Cned 1, Starzo 1, just being melted away, and Avova oversteps it. But Nuki is there, but timing. He should.
I think he's just got it. Just got it, right?
He's just got it.
Just got it.
Just got it.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Talk me through that pistol round, because I actually kind of like that, right? There was a couple of different phases to it, right? The wall adjustment, super nice, but then even the retake had a little bit of leg to it too. This was quite a nice little way to play this out, a little bit unique, a little bit different.
Another one where you just see the importance of the Sage wall in the retake, and particularly on the pistol. This adjustment here ultimately relies on them getting Snowman control, potentially finding a couple of kills. So G2 actually mitigating one of the big win conditions of that execute. So really well played by them. It still comes down to the wire. I mean, Acend able to burn up so much time ahead of G2 getting back onto site. And whether or not that's G2 kind of formulating a plan on the fly. Looks like Ascending once again to try and pressure on towards Mixwell on this B site. No value just yet, and actually the recon bolt going to reveal, I think, quite a lot of information here. Only pulls one from G2. And the alarm bot in mid, so they can sit pretty deep on this. Avova not even entertaining the idea of finding an opening angle on towards A site.
This is a nice read from Acend if they actually get a little bit of wiggle room. Now Meadow's drifting back over, and I think they were just like, this seems a little overzealous, those wide swings, you know, no commitment off the back of it. Cena's trying to sell something here, but you can already see, actually they're drifting through towards middle. This could be a decent fight towards the site, but again, it is pistols, but they've pulled the rotations in a really nice manner. Navova's just going to sit deep. Probably the right choice. They're going to try and at least cause problems for the spike plant, which, just a little.
Yeah.
Just a few issues there.
Yeah, the snake bite and the nano swarm in unison finding that kill.
30 seconds
You're actually going to try and stick this plant. The swing through from screens comes through. They already know CNED was playing pretty late on this. We'll find the consolation, but Hoodie will find his third. G2 holds strong here on A. Again, they can do this when they sit this deep. They have the shock darts, the snake bites, the nano swarm. There's lots of utility to complement this A site hold. Similar to what Acend tried to achieve on B, right, in terms of this anti-plant. So almost forcing Acend now to consider one of these adjustments in terms of spike plant locations, maybe look towards Nest with the wall from Starzo. So again, it has to be a very, very slow work through. They have to dig Avova or Meadow out of one of these positions, which relies a massive overextension, you could argue, or Zeke potentially to find a suppress with that knife.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it actually comes into effect at this point. Again, I like seeing the patience on the playback there, depending on that utility, not overstepping, not being overzealous, and giving up your life for it now. Kind of walling in to an extent, of course. Mixwell, see if he gets played in off the back of this. Noted. Potentially one on the cross there. Gonna hear these steps, and do they check on this? That's what I want to see. How much diligence is given to this? Another pixel noted and CNED quick enough to handle it. And CNED actually finds Hoodie in that. Huh?
Somehow. I mean, Nuki unnoted on yellow just now. Zeke a little bit ahead of the curve here. No way he gets the second.
Run and gun. Run and gun. Absolutely
precise.
Vile.
Precise.
Just precise gunplay.
Planted.
It's all right. Other games have had Tech 9s.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Off the
lovely.
rope.
It's just, you know, look. Just don't look too closely and it looks fine. Just put a bit of Vaseline over the lens and it'll look real pretty. Meadow and Avova, not really fancying their odds in this unless they can somehow close the gap, and well, I think that's already been pretty much burnt up. Avova in absolutely no man's land, and Acend make it through there, I guess, dealing with the bonus round from G2. I wouldn't say with flying colors, but 3 alive with the rifles remaining. You'll absolutely take it.
Ultimately on the back of CNED, finally not just the opener, but doubling down on that as well. Because of his tour de force available.
Second one's mad.
Yeah, it is.
It's unreasonable, isn't it?
I mean, he even catches the headshot. He's like, no, I'm still going to go for it. Yep. Why not?
And it's like, and that's a man after who had a pretty atrocious map 1.
Abysmal,
right?
yeah.
And to be able to pick himself back up and play like that and still double down on it, that takes it.
You want to play? Let's play.
That's pretty bold to be doing it. And CNED has to continue being brave in this one. Trying to clear through by A, but see what the end goal is here. Already a deeper position coming out on the other side of things as well. I'm kind of curious as to what Hoodie's plan may be here and how long he's going to be able to stick around in this position.
Alto should spot it out pretty quickly here, and if there's any support system in place to actually hold the same angle, it's a little strange to see. I'm entirely sure why you play such a deep one and done spot there, whether or not
Beyond me.
They don't really even benefit an awful lot from him getting a 1-for-1 trade here. With Starzo being one away from the res, you got to argue Acend come through, they retrieve the orb, and they're able to mitigate that first blood, even if he does find it.
Yeah, I'm interested what the plan was, because it wasn't like they were exploring on the rest of the map or overextending. It hasn't been, fast, pacey hits from Acend either, so you're not going to get an early read either way.
30 seconds
My
left.
curiosity is the side hits coming in, and Mixwell's just been absolutely battered. Seen so early on, you can see them trying to deny the plant, but that should be coming in regardless. Starzo's going to take the second chunk of damage, but it doesn't do enough to take him down.
Yeah, Shock Dart just a little off there. G2 already considering this. It's just horrendous to try and retake this B site, especially when you're already at a two-man disadvantage.
Scanning ahead.
Wisely will hold on to these 3 rifles. Obviously, Meadow already forced to repurchase that shield as well. This one will conclude, and Acend will tie things up 8 each. I have to see actually where the ultimates lie, because you look across towards Acend, and especially with this being a save round, and really had to invest an awful lot here. So the res online, the tour de force, Zeke 1 away, back and Monster 2 left to find. See what the purchase looks like for G2 as well. I didn't note Mixwell's progress. But that series first, there was 2 very close. Fracture was overtime, if I'm not mistaken. I think Icebox went 13-11 when we were thinking, oh yeah, G2 come in this, they obviously win Icebox, right? It's Icebox.
Obviously. Yeah. No, I actually, God, yeah. My mind is just in the bin trying to remember anything beyond what I've done today, but no, I don't think you're wrong in that. So, a curious scenario, but I don't know if we can really extrapolate much, because it's so hard to identify where Acend are in this, and then in comparison G2, after such a stark contrast on even just map 1 with these 2 teams. But regardless, it's 8-8 now, as close as you could get. Money obviously not quite there, ult's not quite to the same degree. This is certainly looking like Acend has the upper hand at the bare minimum in this round and then going forward. So we have to see what can G2 do. What do they have left? And speaking of ults, Zeke invests here. So already going to facilitate the cross towards site. And very little to deny yet. Wants to get that plant, and Cousin doesn't quite get where he wanted to be going on this. And actually, Vova's going to find Cned, so it's not with a little bit of a fight back. Now, I want to see what the post plant looks like for Acend, and it looks proactive. Deeper swing to try and fight towards that peek through from CT. And Acend aren't really backing away from this either.
And Mixwell able to get past this wall just yet. The swing does come from Monster, and actually not punished for it just yet. Another 1-for-1 goes through. But if Vova's going to find his 3rd here, it's still doable for G2.
I just want to see Mixwell. It's done. In my mind, that was it. And again, both of them had chances.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of timing here and there. There was an opportunity, and you're absolutely right. And it fades to nothing. And now 9-8. The game continues. This is looking... this could turn out to be a brawl, Mike. This looks like it's going to be a close game.
It did. This now becomes the pivotal round for G2. They have to stop this momentum. Look at the cushion that Acend have managed to build up here. Back onto
6 on Vac.
Yeah, back onto a pretty comfortable position in terms of ultimates as well.
Bloody hell.
Vova, he has the Viper Spit. Maybe this is the round he wants to invest that towards a site, and G2 try and achieve something elsewhere. See him take the tightrope on the minimap and pops it immediately. They have to see G2 achieve something elsewhere.
Looking at Acend trying to explore. First time really eyeing up towards middle, up and over we go.
Oh,
3
weird.
players, actually. This is not out of the normal textbook that we've been reading, and Mixwell's seen it. He's seen all of this. Doesn't want to overextend or overpeak and get punished on this. Still in a great position to do work, and he's capitalized on that so well. Monster goes down, as did Zeke. And that weird triple stack towards the top of Tube.
I don't think I've ever seen that. the triple wall onto Tube. It gets absolutely denied here. Hoodie will find favorable timing onto Vac. Just Starzo and Cned left to try and recover this, and Cned with the operator in hand. I don't think, well, I mean, unless he gets to Vac's body here, no chance of him finding a swap out, so has to find a pick here, but Hoodie will spot it. Don't expect him to be peeking anytime soon.
No.
And no wall here, so that this plant on B side is going to be very difficult.
You can just see them slowly closing in.
Seconds left.
I'm just going to get the information on the position. Cned reading that, if Hoodie was a more dangerous man on occasion, he might have peeked that. Mixwell gets punished by Starzo. They're trying to work this out. They've identified potentially 2 players as well. They don't quite know where Nookie is or where, well, you got to know where Avova is, but where is he coming from and what's the timing? So Ascend have a little bit of a beat on this. Now, it does take some heroics, to say the very least. Stark's timing could be good. As CNED's just going to try and, he got caught by Avova. That's the timing we're talking about. There's a chance that maybe he threaded the needle, maybe not, and now you need some of that magic from CNED. And I just don't think he's got it in him right now. Maybe I could be proven wrong. He gave it a damn good go.
I mean,
Finding Avova, but not quite enough.
a ton of damage that will force, actually, I was going to say, whether they consider the res here for the finances. Absolutely does draw out. They're not able to really offset this purchase. So actually, I do say that the tour de force available. You say that's a huge get out of jail free card. With the Viper's Pit being invested, you almost think, there's possibility for a Judge or maybe a Spectre being purchased here, but Mixwell's ultimate will be able to offset this purchase a little bit, and the only one actually going to suffer for it is Hoodie. But look at it.
By a thread, man. By a thread.
It's barely a dent in Ascend's finances here, and it's 9 apiece now.
Yep. We go again. Ascend, what do you have in store for us today? In this round, in this moment, CNED posted towards middle, the rest leaning towards this A site hit, which honestly has been pretty well handled. A couple of plants, sure, but mostly worked out. Now, patience is the name of the game. Any over-peaking, anyone willing to be punished. And it's Nookie with the operator here. Keep that in mind as well. Not just the rifle by his side. He is well enough equipped for this. So almost that double op presence now felt throughout the map, which could work quite nicely. Especially if it's a late hit running down that clock. Nookie having to fall away from it. So okay, you can see the intention behind this set piece coming out. And take the first steps of this, and you're going to see that G2 have to sit a little bit deeper on the site here. They have to respect this utility.
They do. We'll force out the adjustment in terms of the spike plant. Able to mitigate this utility. We've seen them invest previously, and actually the Viper's Pit will go down, making it almost a stranglehold on a site here, but Avova slipped the net somehow. Oh, nearly caught off guard there, but Monster will find the headshot and deal with that threat.
This looks cooked.
Yep, that's it.
Get out of there. I mean, retaking with a double op anyway is horrifically hard. Mixwell, what else would you be saving at this point? Tries to stick around, maybe get a little bit of punish, maybe even get a weapon to walk away with. He's still doing work. Surely they don't re-engage, but Meadow finds CNED. And this is still a battle to an extent, just to try and keep weaponry up.
Yeah, desperate. Obviously, Mixwell only having the classic in hand here, so as the operator and the Phantom, they're able to save across here for G2, but Ascend strike back, put themselves 1 round ahead now. We'll see what G2 can scrape together. Operator passed along. That's Mixwell sat on 3K now.
Okay.
I'm assuming... Well, actually, no. They're kind of going to taper this off here. This is huge, though, because it could almost concede the 11th for Ascend. We've got to look for Mixwell to find value here with this operator. Nothing really to swing this back in their favor other than the lockdown, but don't expect that to get used here. Unless absolutely necessary.
Mixwell has to be in bold this round. If you're going to have that operator in play, you have to be proactive in utilizing it, and
not seeing it.
As it stands, yeah, not the case. I mean, he's posted up towards A, that's fair enough. Maybe expecting, a little bit of presence to be noted, but Avova already feeling some of that presence building over towards B long. Forced away already, but Ascend, they're taking the time. They're not going to fall foul to this. They know that they're playing basically find that up and just avoid it if possible, which not a bad plan. I mean, people have done it against CNED for years. So at this point, it's just Ascend feeling out what G2 are up to. Can they spot where Mixwell will be waiting? Oh my word, he could be in the right place for this.
He could.
How long does he hold this though?
Ascend actually shift walking through here, trying to play contact on 8.
How long does he wait? He's been able to swing it. He's swinging it. It's a swing and a miss, though.
He didn't even get the tag.
That would have been... It looks close, but not quite close enough. Now they've noted Mixwell. Do they continue forward, or do they try and play with risk mitigation, but look towards middle? 30 seconds. You're going to have a player hearing all of these steps, Hoodie is going to note this and call for rotation now, but bear in mind Zeke's already taken space. That's huge from Zeke. They're going to pull the plug on this A piece and try and swing back around towards B, but there's no one to stop it. Where is Mixwell in this? They need him to be over towards that B site. It's already coming in. The plant's going to go down, and I don't know what can deny this. Yes, there's a couple of the weapons around. Meadow does have the rifle, but again, this was all set up for maybe Mixwell, but it's going to be Meadow to find Zeke, so they're going to remove away that first person. Good readjust from Mixwell.
No way. Starzo's got the timing.
Starzo's going to obliterate this. This could all be for nothing. Starzo is going to be that backline assassin, a saboteur to the plans of this retake. And it's all about buying time. As long as the players on the side buy time. And what does he do with this? He's been given the perfect opportunity to dismantle all of this. Dives in there, takes down the lockdown, takes down the player, and Acend just turn the screws on the heartbreak here. Yeah, Hoodie can close in, but by now the round is cooked. That's unbelievable timing. Bear in mind, a second difference. Mixwell may have noted that.
Absolutely. And not even a consolation here for Hoodie. Acend find their 11th, and this is the do or die round now for G2. No ultimates available with that lockdown, but I gotta say, in desperation, thrown out in the previous round. Acend now firmly in control of this half. Yeah, look at this. If that's, they're going to lean heavily towards B. At least here, wants to split towards mid. Maybe he's just going to smoke this cross, but Acend look to dial up the pressure now. Got G2 on the back foot here on their defensive half.
Right time to do it. Navova getting revealed as well. Has to fall away, relinquish a little bit of that initial control that he may have had and play from the back of sight. Support being called in as well. You can see Meadow en route. Wall goes up, and let's see if that plant comes in cleanly. Nothing to deny it or dissuade it. He actually gets out of danger.
They broke the wall. It's just one tag needed to find Zeke inside the decay, but they get away from it. Now, Hoodie has his wall in response, but you've seen G2 almost give up on some of these B-site retakes. Now they have to follow through with it.
Let's see it. Slow comes in, orbs come out, and you can Fury that underhand flash invested the swing as well towards CT. No one falling yet, and time. Time is everything in this. Now, Nookie does find Zeke. It allows safe passage for Hoodie to close in a little. Nookie then doubles down, finding Monster. And this Stark's trying to hold this one. Stark's not going to find two, but it's Hoodie on the back lines. And the defuse. It's close. But I'm pretty sure Meadow's got this one.
That's two diffuses now.
Bloody hell.
0.22 the first, the second 0.26.
What a brawl.
By the skin of their teeth, G2 cling to life. The same with Mixwell, I mean, it's going to be forced to kind of ride this out with a light shield and maybe just the trip here. I mean, you can't...
A Hoodie. Oof. Sorry.
I mean, actually, did Mixwell even buy this trip? I don't think so, no. Can't see it on the minimap either, so opting for the light shield. And again, he can offset a little bit with Meadow in this composition on the Killjoy. Not necessarily overly reliant on having that trip. See now how G2 decided, well, actually how Acend decided to play this. They have the res available, everything else burnt up thus far. And now G2 actually getting closer to getting a few of their ultimates back online. Eyes towards Avova, Nookie, and Hoodie. Again, going to be this slow work towards B. Avova playing pretty disconnected here, doesn't want to risk giving away anything, but it's surprising to see because, like I said, G2 have almost called it quits with a couple of these B-site retakes.
And you're Avova's on an island by all accounts, right? Like, and at this point, he can't hold all of this space. There's a real, there's the punish. Zeke overextends on it because they must have identified at some point that Avova is pretty much on his own, and comfortably so. They are able to take this much space. That's a cheeky. Ooh, the timing. Zeke, get out of it. And Hoodie's actually found one, but the trade comes out. Zeke's still good for it. The underhand flash comes in, but we look towards middle, and it's seen it to punish towards Mixwell. It's getting back on for Acend here. There's Nookie now left in the 1v4. Any other player, my mind would be elsewhere, but there was a moment for him to try and do something, but it wasn't to be. CNED gonna close the account and make it to 12 for Acend. And well, I've got to say it, Acend seem to have a really good either read on how G2 are approaching this,
Yeah,
or just a punish on a couple of players. It seems to be working well, but I've also got to ask the question, I don't know if you can leave Avova on an island like that at this point.
There's almost no contingency plan. There's no safety net for Avova falling there. And ultimately, if he's going to... You can see he attempts to still deny the plant with the snake bite through the Sage Wall, but there's not enough there for me.
But what can you do against 5? And when someone can get that deep, if you're playing a solo site, you have to play somewhat safe, right? If he sat safe for his life, you saw it with Zeke. He was able to close the gap so easily. And now they're testing this, right? They've gone, surely they're going to try and add some backup towards the other side of the map. And then they've got the option now to hit that A site with less players present, with just barely weaponry behind them. They've got a little bit of shield to it, but look at the push coming out, Zeke. Getting over-aggressive, getting into the face of Meadow. And getting the site under their banner already. Now they're trying to deny the plant, buy some time for these rotations, or maybe even catch one of these players. And maybe they've done a bit of chip damage. Sure, they've done a fair bit of damage. Maybe a chance. Maybe. But it's 5 standing, Mike. I just don't see it happening.
Hoodie's found another, though. CNED will fall.
He's trying. He's trying as hard as he can. He knows what's on the line here.
Massive advantage in terms of the weaponry here, though. G2 find themselves in a 3v4. They have to break through.
Where's the front line break? Where are they going to try and get through? Hoodie's the first one to step forward, but Zeke in the dirty position swings wide. He'll give up his life for it, but it facilitates the trade.